Bloodlands. That's how Timothy Snyder called his book, written in 2010, referring to Central and Eastern Europe and the events that took place in the 20th century. I must say, Bloodlands, that's not the name you would like your home to be called. And I wanted always to focus on what happened since 1989, when we could observe an incredible growth, economic growth, development of the countries in the Central and Eastern Europe, when finally, after all decades and sometimes centuries, dominated by foreign powers, these countries, these nations, could govern themselves and show their determination to build a better future for the generations to come. Unfortunately, our neighbor, the neighbor that is, the country that has lived on conquest and plunder for over 3 centuries, like in the past, is presently determined to turn this region again to the Bloodlands. And Russian war crimes committed in Ukraine are showing very clearly that Muscovites haven't changed their cruel and barbaric methods. And once again, civilized people who love freedom have to unite to oppose that destructive power. Millions of Ukrainians were forced to flee their homes and seek for refuge. Many of them found the shelter in Poland. I had the chance to see these people when I was visiting Polish train stations. These mothers and children crying, not knowing what the future will bring, what is the fate of their families. And I must say that we already referred to the efforts done by Polish government, but it was the Polish people that showed their hearts. That was an exceptional example for Europe, how we can help other people. That this solidarity that Poland used to be famous for is not an empty word. That Christian values are not mere ideas for people in Poland, that this is something living in our hearts. And I'm very proud that Poland and Polish people showed that in last more than a year already. And I believe that it was always also important for many Ukrainians that were fighting on the front line, that they were sure that their families are safe in Poland and in other places in Europe. And I'm very happy that we can all see here how, in many ways, Poland showed its support for Ukrainians during that horrible, dark hour. And despite many differences, Poles and Ukrainians showed that they can stand together, arm by arm, defend their freedom and independence against the Muscovite tyranny. But I want to just say that this fight is not over, and we got to be prepared for the new waves of civilians escaping the horrors of war. And that is not only a task for Poles, but for the West collectively. And I want us all to remember that. Thank you very much.